everybody. So what this video today is going to be is yesterday I changed out the Doohickey on my KLR. It's a 2016, so I bought it brand new. And there's been a lot of talk that says, you know, you do need to change it, you don't need to change it, they've improved it. I bought the Doohickey kit like right when I bought the bike because I just felt like it was a part that needed to be done. The rest of the KLR is pretty much bulletproof. They've been making that engine forever, so parts are readily available, but it's a good bike. So yesterday I did the Doohickey replacement, and the results I found were the new Doohickey itself is actually much better quality than the old ones. I've seen the old ones that were they were terrible, and they would explode and get all down in the engine and everything. So it's basically, if you don't know what the Doohickey is, it's like the idle chain tensioner basically, so it takes up slack. So Eagle Mike is a guy who his company, he makes an aftermarket version of this little thing, and you have to crack open the engine pretty extensively. I mean, you have to take the outer cover, the inner cover off, and remove this spring. And so I'm just going to put on here what I found, and I'm glad I did it, and I'll show you some reasons why. But I don't know if it's necessary like initially, but I've got almost 8,000 miles on my bike. But I think if you were getting into the 10 and 12,000, 15, 20, you'd be time to change it, because I think it would be spring bound. Because when I took mine off, it just had, a little bit of tension left on it. So, so let's go look at the footage, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about it. All right, so I found the right socket. It was 19 millimeters, and for the magic of television, I kind of pre-loosened it a little bit. Pre-loosened, is that a word? All right. All right. Out comes the bolt. Now there's a woodruff key and a couple of different things I got to be careful about getting out here. Alright, so there's the old bolt. I don't know why they want you to replace that. That seems a little silly to me. And there's a lot of people who say they absolutely do not replace them. So now, where is our puller? What did I do with the puller? There it is. And I will tell you, it comes with this little blue sleeve, and that's probably a really smart thing to keep you from boogering up these fasteners, because I kind of dropped it, not dropped it, but bounced it off my leg, and not the greatest idea. And I think those thread deals kept it from messing up the threads. So I'm assuming this has to be on the top side now if we're tightening. So let's and that appears to be coming off there. Let's try not to lose the woodruff key. And the guy in the video said you could just spin that a little bit and it would come right out. And boy, he was right. And there's the tiny woodruff key that you don't want to lose. Okay. And that's a mother. Set that aside. Woodruff key there. Okay, well, let's see what we got. I want to kind of I can never remember what size that little sucker is. I know everybody is yelling probably through their TVs and whatever. That's okay. I've never claimed to be a master mechanic. I've rebuilt some old vehicles and cars and whatnot, but it's This is just for fun. I'm just trying to help people out who, man, that sucker's tight. Okay, so I loosened it and we got no movement there. Yeah, that thing's, it's relatively sloppy, but it looks a lot better than the old ones I've seen. But it is definitely kind of sloppy. So we're gonna take out this right here. Get my washer with it. All right. And then this is the part we're after. So let's do a comparison maybe. It looks really good actually. I mean, in comparison to what I thought it would look like. Because I've seen the old ones and they're terrible looking. So let's look at the Eagle mic. Get it out here for you kids. Alright. So this is the Eagle mic and this is the original. So get my stupid fat hands out of the way. So we've got a decent amount of like wiggle play in there. So technically, let's see what the difference is. Oh, that's like night and day. Look how that just fits. That's like a glove. And you see how I've got so much more left to go in the take up. But if you put on that one, look, I'm almost done. Like, I've used up this much and I've got this much left. So if you look at the way his offset is, he just gives you, there we go, so much more room to make up. So look at that. I mean, that is pretty sweet. Okay, so now we actually have to get this cover off too, because the spring is down in here. So we're going to do that next. All right. Well, we have to take off all these bolts here. This one is a short bolt that we have to remember to save. So we will do that and I'll be right back. All right. So now we've taken out all these bolts from the inner cover. And now we got to try to get this puppy off. Trying to be gentle. Ooh, do I have all the bolts out? I know I do. Just might be a little snug. Wow. Man. Okay. It's moving everywhere. I'm trying to be very careful too. I don't want to tear anything up, so I might do my gentle pry and persuasion up here at the top and try not to. And I'm not, like I said, I've never done this one before, so I've cracked into a lot of motors before, but not a KLR 650. My buddy Jimmy Matthews is in Hawaii. He's probably laughing his butt off at me. He's probably just like, yank it off, Ranko. Oh, here it comes. Boy, that is a tight fit. I mean, it's machined well. All right. Okay, so that looks good. So we've got that cover off. And this spring actually is still pretty tight, I'll be honest with you. So if you know, you guys are wondering about the new bikes, it seems like this one is, the retention is hanging on, but I've got, I think, right at 8,000 miles on this bike. And as you could see by the adjustment,
I've used up pretty much everything, and there's actually not much stretch left in this though. There's a little bit, you can see. So like if I were to stretch it and take my little pliers here, see, it's got about that much, but that's not much. And then when this thing comes back, the chain gets a little looser, the spring is just going to be so not as bad as I thought it would be, but still glad I'm gonna change it. I just think it's a better system. So there you go, there's the one that came off of it. Alright, so I got to go do some drilling, and I'll be right back.
So, as you noticed when I took off the old Doohickey, I only had a little bit of take-up left, whereas the new one you have basically 3/4 of take-up. Not that I don't think the chain is going to stretch that much, but the unique feature about putting in that I can't even think of the name of the little conical spring as opposed to the regular spring is that spring is only having to work when you release the tension bolt, and then it takes up the slack, and then you tighten the tension bolt. In the other system, that spring is always under tension, it's always working. So it's going to torsion spring, so it's going to make that torsion spring last longer because it only has to work when I loosen that tension bolt. It takes up the slack, then you tighten it, and then it's just sitting there. All right, so we'll go back to it.
I got the spring put in. I got everything torqued back down, so now we're ready to go ahead and put our new Eagle mic on there, our Doohickey, and so we have it there. And so basically their advice is to put the tensioner back on and put it under tension a little bit, and then you'll be able to clip it underneath the lip over here. And so let's see if we can do that. Yeah, they said it would be very tough, and they weren't kidding. That is not easy. But I guess if it was easy, everybody'd do it, right? Alright. Now, release that, and it should be, yep. So there you can see it is in full tension now, and I've got this much left to use, whereas in the old one, I had this much left with the old spring, and now I have this much left. So we should be good, and everything looks like it's fitting. So now we'll just snug it down for now, just to